Stay tuned for the end of this video because I will be comparing the new Canon EOS R to my current 6D Mark II. Hello everyone! What is going on? In today's video, I have an exciting, super duper exciting unboxing. I feel like this month has just been so blissful for me. I first got a boosted board, I got a new phone, I'm gonna be getting a new watch, and now I have a brand new camera. So let's just go ahead and get right into this unboxing of the Canon EOS R. So as I open this, I'll just go ahead and give you guys my story. So I was originally using just an iPod Touch for photography. Eventually, I moved on to my sister's Canon Rebel XS. This was back in like 2014 or something. And then eventually in 2017, I bought my own Canon T7i, but then I outgrew it. So I got the Canon 6D Mark II, and now I feel like I'm outgrowing it as well. And so I am now getting the Canon EOS R. So in this box, I have a ton of exciting stuff. I have 5 items, and we'll go from the least exciting to most exciting. So I got some photo paper. Secondly, we got a crappy SD card. I also got a free mount adapter from EF to EOS R, or to their RF mount. So this will be cool for the lens I have on right now, which is the Canon 50mm f1.4. And then now let's move on to the 2 exciting things. So we got the EOS R and we got the Canon RF 24 to 240mm lens. I don't want to talk about price, but I also want to talk about price first. So this all in all is somewhere in the ballpark of $3,300, but I got this for $2,400. The EOS R is $2,300. It's on sale for $2,000. And this new RF 24 to 240 lens, which just came out this month, if you buy this with the EOS R, you get $500 off. This lens, which retails for $900, I got for $400. On top of that, they threw in this free mount adapter, which is $100, and then they just threw in these 2 things, which I guess is around $40. That's like 900 and something savings. So I don't even know where to begin. Let's just go put these 2 away. You guys really don't care about this, so let's not even worry with unboxing this. So you got the Canon EOS R box. You just see the EOS R and you see all this stuff. I'm sure you guys will see this in the B-roll, but let's just go ahead and open it. Opening this up, you got some warranty information, and then you got a cable. This cable looks to be USB Type-C to USB Type-C, and then I honestly don't even know what the heck this is. If you guys want to tell me what this is in the comment section below, I'll be more than happy. But I should be able to charge my camera with the new iPhone 18-watt fast charger since it is USB Type-C. I got an LP E6 battery. I don't know if it's the E6N or the E6. Let's go take a quick look. Looks to be the LP E6N, thank God. I have a fully charged E6N in my backpack, so if this doesn't turn on the camera, I'm grabbing my fresh battery. And then we got the EOS R, what do you call that, booklet. And I don't know why I'm opening this because I'm definitely not gonna read it. Okay, and then we got the charger, just standard stuff. If you have an 80D, a 7D Mark II, any full frame cameras, this is the normal charger you get with the E6 or E6N batteries. And 2 more things. We have the camera strap, okay, and here we go. This is the EOS R. I've held this before at like a Micro Center at a Best Buy, but to hold this and know this is my camera, this is crazy. Let's go ahead and see if we can turn it on. And of course, the battery is dead. Give me 1 second. Here we go, brand new Canon EOS R. I didn't get this refurbished or anything, so shutter count is 0. Smells brand new, and it looks awesome. Just initial thoughts, it feels very nice. It feels very small. This feels smaller than my 6D Mark II, but the grip of it feels just as good as my 6D Mark II. Later on, I'll go ahead and switch to my GoPro or my iPhone, and then I'll just compare the 2 side by side. But let's just go over a couple of specs about this. So this has the Digic 8 processor. It shoots 4K video at 30 frames per second. It shoots 1080p video at 60 frames per second. The 4K is cropped at 1.7 times crop, which is a bit annoying. So if you're shooting at 10 millimeters, you gotta multiply that by 1.7, which means you'll be shooting at 17 millimeters. But 1080p is at full frame, so 10 millimeters would be 10 millimeters. It shoots 8 frames per second without autofocus, 5 frames per second with autofocus, and like 3 frames per second for like eye tracking autofocus, something like that. It has a 30.3 megapixel full frame mirrorless sensor, so there is no mirror, so which means this does have an OLED viewfinder. So when you look through the viewfinder, you see exactly what is gonna be taken. So if you look at a DSLR, you see what is happening in real life, and you take the picture and then it processes it based off your exposure. But in here, if I look through the viewfinder, what I see is what I get. If you open up the sensor, you will see that the shutter actually shuts, and so that way the sensor isn't exposed to any dust or debris. And then also, this is the new RF lens mount. So this is only available on 2 cameras, the EOS R and the EOS RP, which means it uses a whole new type of lens, the RF lens mount. But thanks to this free adapter, I can adapt any old EF any EF lenses onto here. So this does shoot C-Log, which is pretty awesome. It shoots at all eye compression, so it doesn't shoot at IPB, so that means I can get more data off of this in 1080p and 4K, which means this has a better 1080p than the 6D Mark II. It has like a minimum ISO of 50 all the way up to 102,400. It has 30-second shutter speed all the way up to 1/8000th second of a shutter speed. I believe it can shoot from like -6 EV to 18 EV. This has 1 SD card slot, but this does support UHS 1 and 2, so I could theoretically get myself a 300 megabyte per second SD card. It does have this touch bar, which I've never used before, so we'll have to see how that works. It does have a headphone jack, which is pretty awesome. The 6D Mark II does not, so I'll be able to listen in on my audio if needed. And then it does have dual pixel autofocus, which is the superior autofocus of any camera brand. Those 3 reasons alone are the reasons why people switch to Canon: for the tilty flippy screen, for their color science, and for their dual pixel autofocus. And that is why I still stay loyal to Canon, why I have not switched to the Sony system or the Nikon system or even Pentax. I don't know why anyone would, but Pentax? Sorry to jump in, but this also has 5,655 autofocus points that covers 88% of the screen, and it also has eye autofocus, which the 6D Mark II does not, and that 6D Mark II only has 45 autofocus points that are bunched in the center. But anyways, I'll talk more specs and I'll just show off some more B-roll once we compare this to 6D Mark II. Let's go ahead and unbox this 24 to 240 millimeter lens. So opening the box, we have some more warranty information, and then after that we can just pull this out, and here it is wrapped in some bubble wrap. The RF 24 to 240 millimeter lens. Initial thoughts: this is a very tall lens. It's quite heavy too, but it feels very robust. I have here a very common lens kit to put with a full frame camera, which is the 24 to 105 millimeter f3.5 to 5.6 IS STM. So some differences about this: 24 to 105, 24 to 240, f4 to 5.6, f3.5 to 5.6, image stabilization, STM, USM. So this feels a lot nicer of a quality than the older 24 to 105, and it's heavier and it's just a little bit taller. But I would rather take the extra weight and the extra size if that means I can get all the way up to 240 millimeters. That's a whole 10 times zoom. Are you crazy? And then just looking at here, it does have the new RF lens mount. So there's a lot more pins. On the EF lens mount, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins, and on the RF there is 12. So that means it's gonna be like faster data traveling, whatever it is. It means something, but I do know it does mean that you can get closer to the sensor, you meaning the glass and the lens. So that does make for better vignetting and chromatic aberration performance. So I guess that's cool and stuff. Couple things about this lens. So it only has 2 rings. This larger ring is the zoom function, so 24 to 240. It is D-click, so it's very smooth. And then the second ring is your focusing ring, which I believe does have full-time manual focus, but you can switch this button over here to switch it to control. So with the control ring, you can set many different things. I believe you can set white balance, you can set ISO, you can set other different features. So I think I'll probably set this to ISO, so that way I can easily switch my aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, because with the 6D Mark II, you had to hold the ISO button and then use the shutter button, which was like a two-step process. So to just shorten it a little bit, having the control ring will make it awesome. Regardless of which mode you're using it on, this is D-Click, so it feels very smooth. And seriously, this just feels so well built compared to this. This feels very flimsy, and like you can just hear some shaking and rattling compared to this, which is very firm. It has 5 stops of image stabilization. I don't know what this has, 3 or 4, something, but this is supposed to be the best image stabilization on a Canon lens to date. So I'm excited to see that. So let's just go ahead and put this on the EOS R body. Thanks to the shutter closing technology, mechanic, whatever, of the new EOS R, I don't have to do like the tiny thing where I do this and hold it here to like make sure no dust gets in, because now there's just no dust because it has that shutting door thing. Okay, so you just line up the red buttons, just like any DSLR camera, and then let's go ahead and turn this on. General first impressions, this screen is very sharp. It actually portrays 60 frames per second compared to 30 frames per second on this, and it is sharper. And then there's a little bar underneath the viewfinder where as long as you cover it, it'll automatically switch from the screen to the viewfinder, so that way you can save battery. And then this viewfinder, it's weird, like you really do see exactly what you're taking a video of. It's pretty awesome. But let's go ahead and switch to manual mode, because miss me with any of those auto settings. This touchscreen is just so intuitive. If you've used any Canon touchscreens before, you'll feel right at home. There's nothing weird about this. I can already feel confident in setting up all of my settings. You can go to the menu area and that's all the same as well. So let's press record. The very first video shot out of this is 24 millimeters, 1/25th shutter speed, f4 aperture, ISO 2000, and then look at what we can do. 24, all the way up to 240 millimeters. Like, look at that. I can go all the way here, all the way out. And then I can also look in through the viewfinder, and then I can zoom in and just take a look at exactly how everything is going to look. This is pretty cool. And then let's just compare this to the 6D Mark II. I'll go ahead and put this lens on so that we can get a fair look at how the kit might look for 6D Mark II and how the kit would look for an EOS R. So here we are, EOS R and 6D Mark II. Holding the two, I think that this is actually lighter. The EOS R in the 24-240 feels lighter than the 24-105 with the 6D Mark II. The lens feels heavier on the EOS R, but the body feels heavier with the 6D Mark II. And I know that this isn't the most exemplary way of showing things, but here's the sensors, RF mount, EF mount. This is definitely a lot heavier than the EOS R. This hides the sensor, that exposes the sensor, and this lens is heavy, this lens is lighter, heavy body, light body. So I think that's a fair trade-off, honestly, because the EOS R is lighter, but you do have that extra zoom range of all the way up to 240 millimeters. And then this does have tilty flippy tilt screens, OLED viewfinder, optical viewfinder. Only thing that's weird is you can't like get into the video so easily. If you want to get to video, you have to go to mode, and then you have to go to info to switch over. So it's just a little bit longer, but that's fine. But the menu system seriously feels the same. It's like really the exact same way. If you use any Canon camera, you're gonna feel right at home. And so the reason why I switched to the EOS R compared to the 6D Mark II is the fact that this shoots 4K, 30 frames per second. This shoots 1/8,000th of a second shutter speed. This shoots C-Log, which means I'll be able to shoot in a flat profile, getting more dynamic range and having more flexibility to color grade. This does use RF lenses and EF lenses, so this is the future. While this is limited only to EF lenses, this is overall lighter. It's more modern. It has a Digic 8 processor, and just overall, the only thing that I'm going to miss with the 6D Mark II is 6.5 frames per second with AF tracking. This only shoots 5 frames per second with AF tracking, but other than that, 26.2 megapixel sensor, 30.3 megapixel sensor. Like, everything about this is basically better. And then also on the photography side, this does have 5600 autofocus points, and this does have a IAF autofocusing. So even though I'm going to primarily use this for video, it's nice to have those two features. There's just so many pros about this camera. For the features you're getting, I think it's almost worth it to get the EOS R over the 6D Mark II. And I feel like maybe a year ago when I got the 6D Mark II, I should have just saved up a little more money to get the EOS R, but this is just so awesome. And then you do have this control ring, you do have this touch bar, which is not available here or here. Same E6 battery and same single SD card slot. And overall, this is just my general light comparison between the two cameras. So let's go ahead and let's open this mount adapter for the EOS R. So we'll open this up, open this. And this right here is the lens adapter. So this will allow me to use EF lenses with this camera. Over here, 50mm f1.4. So I can just throw this on. Boom, and then look, I can go ahead and turn this on. And now I have my 50mm f1.4 right on here. It's super awesome being able to shoot with any lenses that I want. I'm not limited to just RF or EF. I can use both. And in the future, when I get RF lenses, it's gonna be much sharper and it's gonna be much better than the EF lens equivalent. So this is really just the future. This is just the basic mount adapter, but it feels very sturdy. It feels very, very nice. And then to remove the lens, you just hold this, do the twist, and there you go. All right, I am on the EOS R right now, but I just want to close this video off. I'm sorry if this is very sloppy and if it feels like it was just on running, but seriously, I'm so excited to have this camera. I'm excited to just use the many new features on this that the 6D Mark II doesn't have, and it's exciting to have the new RF lens mount to put on this 24 to 240 lens and to be able to use the future lenses that Canon will come out with. This is definitely the future for Canon going into the full frame mirrorless territory. But this is going to be it, guys. If you guys enjoyed this unboxing, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And honestly, if you didn't like this unboxing, seriously, I understand. Feel free to hit that dislike too. I'm not gonna be mad or upset at you guys. But yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.